Have you ever had that feeling where the very things you do to protect yourself, to keep from getting hurt, are actually the exact things holding you back from real connection? Well, today we're diving deep into that exact paradox, all through the incredible research of Brené Brown.
So get this quote just completely flips what we're usually taught, right? We tend to think that fear is the opposite of courage. But what if the real roadblock isn't the fear itself, but the armor we put on to hide from it? That's the huge idea we're going to unpack today.
All right, so what is this armor really? What does it actually look like in our day-to-day lives? Because figuring that out, just being able to spot it is the absolute first step. So let's break it down.
Okay, so armor isn't some literal shield. It's really our go-to toolkit of thoughts and behaviors when we feel exposed. Think about it. It's the perfectionism we use so nobody can criticize us, or that need to control everything to avoid failure. Sometimes it's just shutting down completely so we don't get hurt. That's the armor. This is such a critical distinction to make. Fear is just part of being human. It's not the enemy here. The real opponent to courage is the armor we grab because we feel that fear. So bravery isn't about not being afraid. It's about feeling that fear and choosing to show up without your armor anyway. And while that armor might feel like it's keeping us safe in the moment, man, it comes at a super high cost. It pushes people away, it disconnects us from what we truly care about, and stops us from experiencing the best parts of life, like love and joy. It's like in trying to protect our hearts, we just end up walling them off entirely.
So if armor is the big problem, what's the antidote? Well, it all starts with a total reframe of a word that, let's be honest, most of us have been taught to run away from: vulnerability. This is a massive cultural myth we really need to bust. We're so often told that vulnerability equals weakness, but Brené Brown's research shows us it's the exact opposite. As she was once told by a Special Forces soldier, there is absolutely no courage without vulnerability, period.
So let's be super clear about what we're talking about here. Vulnerability isn't some flaw you have. It's just the feeling we get when things are uncertain, when we're taking a risk, or when we're emotionally exposed. It's an experience, not a weakness.
And you see it in really normal, everyday stuff. It's saying I love you first without knowing if you'll hear it back. It's asking for help when you're stuck. It's even just letting yourself feel truly happy without that little voice in your head waiting for something to go wrong. Every single one of those is an act of courage.
This whole idea of vulnerability, it's the foundation for the next huge piece of this puzzle: trust. And just like with vulnerability, we often get the story of trust all wrong. It's not about these big, grand gestures. It's about something much, much smaller.
I mean, that's a huge question, right? We often think it's forged in these dramatic moments of loyalty or betrayal. But the research? It tells a totally different story. The truth is, trust is built in the tiny, boring, everyday stuff. It's the slow accumulation of these almost unnoticeable moments, like a friend who remembers a small detail you told them weeks ago, or a coworker who just does what they say they're going to do. That's the real bedrock of trust.
And this brings us to what she calls the marble jar theory, which is such a great visual. Just imagine trust as a jar that starts out empty. Every little act of kindness or reliability, like a teacher who makes you feel safe to ask questions or a friend who keeps a secret, that adds a marble to the jar. We learn to be vulnerable with the people who have earned our trust, one small marble at a time.
So we have vulnerability, which is what allows us to build trust. And both of these are absolutely essential for one of our deepest human needs: the need to belong.
But here's the thing about true belonging. It isn't actually about being accepted by other people. It's an inside job. It's the practice of accepting and belonging to yourself first, so deeply that you can then bring your real self to the world.
And let's not get this confused with fitting in. Fitting in is all about changing who you are just to be liked. In fact, Brown says it's the single greatest threat to belonging. True belonging is the total opposite. It's having the courage to be exactly who you are, even if that means you might have to stand alone for a little while.
It's such a powerful paradox, isn't it? To really, truly connect with other people, you first have to be deeply connected to yourself. Because the second you start changing who you are to fit in, well, the first person you've abandoned is yourself.
So let's just bring this all home. A brave and connected life isn't about becoming fearless. It's about feeling the fear and choosing vulnerability instead of grabbing for that armor. It's about building trust in those tiny little moments, and it's about belonging to yourself above anyone else.
And the best part is, this isn't just some nice, abstract theory. These are 4 actual skills you can learn and practice: really wrestling with vulnerability, living into your values, building trust, and learning how to get back up after you fall.
That is the work. That is the practice of courage.
And that really leaves us with one final essential question to ask ourselves, because we all have it. Maybe it's perfectionism, maybe it's cynicism, or the need to be in control. So what is the armor you reach for when you're afraid? And is it actually serving you?